Welcome to the Amazon's podcast. I'm Glenn Young, owner of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. Celebrate the female physique. Subscribe to Amazon'sFitMag.com. The podcast is brought to you by GPS Photography and Video. Why photography and video? Because a photo's worth 1,000 words, video's worth a million. GPSPhotoandVideo.com. And of course, Amazon's Fitness Magazine is a publication of GPS Photography and Video. Back on the podcast, joining me again, Hannah Hussein, IFBB Women's Bodybuilder Pro. And everybody wants to know, Hannah, when are you going to do this first show as a pro?
Hopefully next year, September, December timeframe.
Okay. So how have you been? You know, I think we talked last time about 7-8 months ago, before all the shows were coming out and Olympia and all the spin up and everything. So what have you been up to?
The same old stuff, training, spending some time with family. I needed to do that.
Right.
But other than that, training at the same gym, with the same coach, and just trying to get better.
Yeah. Well, you saw the 2024 year that was in women's bodybuilding. What were your thoughts?
So I saw that. So I saw the Olympia, obviously, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did pay attention to some other shows. It was very interesting because I noticed overseas, like, because here in the US, it seemed like, and I could be wrong, but it seemed like the judges were favoring more feminine, kind of softer, and then overseas was a very different. But I could be biased because I don't see all the shows. I miss some.
Right.
Like there's days that I don't really scroll, but there's days that I do excessively. So I could have missed some shows, but that I don't know. What does it seem like to you? Because I know overseas, like it seemed like the most extreme was winning.
Right. You know, and I got to say, I agree with you. Definitely look different from overseas to back here at home, especially when I looked at the women's physique division. And then back here at home, it's like they went with the traditional look of what always was in women's physique division was no striated glutes. And I think, and it showed up as Sharonica Hinton got number 3 in the world at the Olympia and won her show when she was competing at the Texas Pro. Looked like they were looking for a harder look. But, you don't know because every show is different. And the only judging panel that matters once you qualify for the Olympia is, of course, the Olympia judges panel. And, that's just the way it is. I think a lot of it is people know what they like as a fan, and that doesn't necessarily translate to the judges' scorecard.
Yeah.
And everybody loves a hard look. Some do, and some don't. Some like the Joe B to technically sound or what traditionally is. I think when you look at women's bodybuilding, everybody loves the top 3 physique. Andrea Shaw, and then Angela Yo, and of course Ashley Jones. But those are 3 very different physiques as well. And when you look at everyone that won a show and qualified for the O, didn't translate to how it all shaped out in the end as far as placings, even from the Rising Phoenix to the Olympia. So, but I loved it overall. Loved the show, loved the physiques, and was glad to get to some shows such as the Tampa Pro and the Atlanta Pro that was on my list for a long time. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, It comes down to the judges. You got to respect the judge's ruling and go on from there. But it's not what you like is necessarily translates to the judge's scorecard.
Yeah. But I think even at the Olympia, it's still kind of confusing because first and second place have very, very different physiques. Like
you do.
I'm a huge Andrea Shaw fan. Like I just think she's gorgeous. I think her muscles are like pretty Miss Pretty Muscles.
Right.
It's very fitting. But her and Angie, they have such different physiques, so it's almost confusing to have them side by side.
And then when you get the athlete physique, it's like Okay. No one had her winning the New York Pro, and
Mm.
certainly no one had her placing as high as she did at the Olympia. Uh, and that's just the way it all shakes out. And so when you look at it, everybody I think they do try to look what's the trend. They try to get a pulse on it and say, well, okay, Andrea Shaw need to have my physique look like hers. At the same time, Angela Yo, very hard look. And then as you saw, it totally blew everybody away in the Rising Phoenix. Angela Yo wins the Rising Phoenix. Thing that Andrea Shaw said was, "Hey, I'm coming in more shredded," and
Yeah.
then there you have it. And the thing about it was 7 weeks away. The Rising Phoenix to the Olympian physiques can change greatly in
Yeah.
7 weeks. Had it been 2 weeks away from the Olympia, okay, standings may not have changed. But then at the same time, 7 weeks out, you say, well, okay, how much better is Angela Yo going to come in, and is this it? Has Andrea Shaw is Andrea Shaw going to lose the Olympia?
Mm.
Because that was the story going in, and nobody was really paying too much attention to Ashley Jones and placings 3 through 10. But I mean, there you have it. That's why the champ digs different, digs deeper, and that's how it all came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, great show, the 60th Olympia, and I don't know how close it was on the scorecards. It would have been interesting to see that, but I mean, at the end of the day, love all of them, top to bottom. Everybody that plays, Hella Trevino, Teresa Avancic, everybody,
Yeah.
because the shows that they won, you know, I mean, it was just wasn't no joke. I mean, compare 2023's class to 2024's class, and it's night and day.
Yeah,
It really
it
is.
was a very good year for women's bodybuilding, like, and how I forgot about that. Helen came out of retire she wasn't retired, but she came out of, like, a hiatus, I believe, wasn't
Yeah,
she injured?
she's coming back from injury. She had been away from the stage 2 years, and everybody's like, certainly nobody had her place in fourth.
Yeah.
They thought, oh, she's washed up, she's done. This will be her swan song, and she kicked a lot of people's butt.
Yeah.
That's just
That
that's just
was
the
so
way it went
awesome to see. Yeah. That was amazing to see because I think she did a pretty good job of hiding her physique too, leading up to
Yeah,
it. At least her current physique, and then when she was on the stage, I was like, "Oh, holy
and
shit."
she played to the rumors very well too. Well, she
Yeah.
just changed coaches. She's been away too long. Uh, she probably should have retired. Shouldn't have came back. And so she let everybody buy into that and use that as leverage. And when she showed up at the show, yeah, okay, lights out. Here you
Yeah.
go. So and again, I would like to know how close it was between Ashley and Hella
Mm.
as well. So, and now that she's back from injury, what's 2025 going to look like?
Yeah.
And I
And
guess you can say that overall because I mean, every year is different, and every show is different, and
yeah.
everybody's coming after the champ. So yeah, I look forward to seeing the season.
Yeah. It was definitely a fun year to watch, female bodybuilding.
What did you feel that you learned in that year watching everybody else? Um, how do you feel you stack up? I guess is a better word question.
That I don't know. I definitely, I'm never gonna be a mass monster. I don't think, I don't. As a human, I'm pretty small. Like
Yeah.
I'm barely 5'2". I feel like I hold it well.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know how I would stack up with something. I guess 2025 is gonna find out. I
Yeah,
do think I have a good shape though. I think my shape will carry me pretty far.
I know. When I saw you at the Nationals in Orlando, you looked huge, and like you said, you're only 5'2", but you never would have thought it. And I had VIP tickets too, so I was up close. So I was like, wow.
I had
So
people come up to me. I've had people the whole time I've been competing basically since after figure
right.
or after I switched from figure up. People would come up to me after I got up stage and like, "Oh my god, you look huge on stage, but you're so small in person." And I guess I just have that illusion.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, a lot of people say that they think I'm like huge on stage, but I'm really, I'm short, I'm small.
Yeah.
I have small feet even.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but that might play to my advantage, you know, I don't know. We'll
I,
see.
I think it will. And at the same time, you mentioned the mass monsters versus the, you know, you can't call all y'all mass monsters to me
Yeah.
because they're huge in definition. But then you look at more shredded versus others that are big, and like I said, tomorrow night we're gonna talk to Ava Montgomery, and that's an ultimate mass monster. And
Yeah.
but when you look at Andrea Shaw and Angela Yo, and of course Ashley Jones, three very different physiques, as he said. But Andrea Shaw, you wouldn't call her a mass monster. Uh, you would just call her an incredible shredded physique because she's not that tall either.
Yeah.
Now, Sheena Oleg, I love her physique. I think she's like 5'7", and then of course last week when I interviewed Chelsea Dion, she's like 5'7", 5'8". So like that's really tall in women, So
Yeah,
it,
I met Chelsea at a photo shoot, 2019, I think.
uh-huh,
She's big. We both just got done competing, and she's big, like,
yeah,
you know, and so when I see that, I'm like, I feel so small, but,
yeah.
I feel like I'm starting to fill out my frame well, and so I am excited to see how I do on a pro stage.
And this will be your first pro season.
Mhm.
Do you see yourself just doing one show, two shows, or if you qualify for those, shut it down? What's your strategy?
Um, it really depends on how I place. I think that, if I place well, obviously, everyone's goal is to qualify for the Olympia. I just want to step on the Olympia stage. Like, if I
Mhm.
just qualify, that's gonna be, I'm gonna be over the moon for that. Now, if the judges say, like, if I do really bad and they say, I have a lot of work to do, then I don't see the point in just, going and doing another
Right.
show. I would then, probably take another season to improve and come back.
And that, of course, would make sense because there's no use to. You got to listen to the judge's feedback. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't. They don't know what they're talking about. And then the next show, then they do worse, and they're like, oh man. Or that you show up and it's the same judge or some of the same judges on the panel
Yeah.
that judge you, and they're like, hey, I told you you needed to build more size. Why are you back in front of me?
Yeah.
So, uh,
Yeah, and I'm like, I pretty well take the judges' feedback to,
mhm,
as what needs to be done because otherwise, why
right.
would I keep they're judging, so why would I be like, "No, I know better," but yeah.
Mhm. So you and your coach, you plan out a strategy. You with your same coach,
Yes. Yeah.
and so now, if you do a show in September, you probably going in prep when May time frame,
Yeah, I've stayed leaner this off season. Um,
right? Mhm.
so I'll be set up better than
Right.
previous because I don't know if you paid attention to some of my previous off seasons, but I get a little fluffy. This off season, I've done a lot better of a job
Right.
not getting fat, so I'll be set up to, kind of seamlessly get into a prep. But yeah, around May probably.
Yeah. You think it was just a thing of poorly managing the reverse diet coming out of prep, or
I think that this is actually my first off season with this coach. So I'm still with the coach that got me my pro card.
right?
But it's my first off season with him because
Okay.
I hired him in prep in
Okay.
for my pro card. Before that, I was with someone else, and they heavily have like they force fed me. So
Mm,
their strategy was, you know, eat a ton. I was eating oatmeal 3 times a day, drink with carbolin in my intra workouts. Like it was just so carb heavy.
you're right.
Um, and I don't like I gain weight easy. And so it just didn't it didn't do well with me.
Yeah.
So because he also trains with me. He's my training partner. He
Right.
saw that. So we were training partners before I ever hired him.
Okay.
And so he saw me in my off season leading up to a show, getting ready to get into prep, and then throughout prep, he saw how much I was struggling with what my coach at the time was doing with me, which was
Mhm.
force feeding and eating these big meals before training, feeling sluggish during training.
Yeah.
And so he noted that and he was like, we are not going to do that. We're gonna keep you kind of hungry. And I've put on size. I've put on size like last off season. I got up to the 140s. Now I'm close to 160. Uh,
Mhm.
and I'm leaner than I was. So I've definitely put on some size and my strength has gone up. So I think we're doing something right.
Gotcha. Was there specific body parts that you targeted based on the feedback that you received when you got your pro card, or?
Yes. So legs, which I do believe I've brought up this year,
Mhm.
um, and arms, which I feel like I've brought everything up. I've done some before and after pictures, and
Right.
there's some pretty big differences as far as me putting on size this year.
Mhm.
But legs was the main thing, and I think I'm pretty happy with the progress that I've made.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm always going to want everything to be bigger, but with the amount of time that we've had and some of the stuff that I've had to deal with this year, like my father passed away and
Mhm.
some other things with
I'm
my family.
sorry.
So despite those things, I think we've made good progress.
And I was just about to ask you how your personal life was. Sorry to hear about your father passing.
Thank you.
Do
Um,
you? No, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say my personal life has been kind of tough this year, but I'm getting through it.
Okay. Well, all the best in that regards. I'm sure it will, because it's so important to have a clear mindset when you go into prep, because you're really out there by yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody, even though you got a coach and everything about it and trainer, all fans see is like, okay, the end product and showing up on stage. But when the boogeyman comes along at 2 in the morning and you're stressed and you're worrying, it's just you. So yeah. When you look at, and you mentioned an overseas show, that you might do an overseas show, would you prefer to do an overseas show, or would you prefer to do one in the States?
I would prefer to do one in the States, and that's simply because I hate flying.
Yeah.
So if I can avoid it, I will. And the travel and stuff, and in prep, that's stressful.
Right.
So
Right.
ideally, I would like to do one in the States. Ideally in Texas because that's where I
Yeah.
am. And then
Well, I mean, and you always let the cat out the bag. I think the Texas Pro was somewhere around September time frame, August, late August time frame.
Yeah, I believe
It
so.
could be the one. Of
Yeah.
course, it wasn't women's bodybuilding, but hey, I'm hoping that this year it will be. So, and
There's I saw there's some shows, some of the schedules came out for next year, and
uh-huh.
there's women's bodybuilding in shows that previously didn't have it. So that's
Really?
exciting, yeah. I saw on George's page, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. And obviously, I hope they're closer to North Carolina so I can to get to them, because I'm like, man, I'm not gonna make Arizona, and and that's just
I
not
would
gonna
do I would definitely do I love North Carolina. My grandparents used to live there.
happen. Okay. Well, let's hope that one's near North Carolina or in North Carolina.
Yeah,
Well, if
because
anything else, you just gonna have to come to shoot. So you're gonna have to
yeah,
come here anyway.
I gotta come do a shoot with you anyway.
Yes, you do. So, do you think size matters though? And you mentioned size. You want to put on more size. Size versus conditioning and symmetry and all these words that everybody throws out there, all these terms. What do you feel is most important to you?
Um, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I think you have to have them all to do well,
Mhm.
especially at the pro level. That's, kind of inevitable, it seems. But I don't think size is everything.
Right.
Maybe in the men's division, like in the men's
Yeah.
open, okay, yeah, they do look huge. But then, I don't know. I watch the men's, but I watch women's more.
Yeah. Do
Um,
you find yourself comparing your physique to others, or you see, okay, I gotta have my physique like hers, or are you just doing your own thing?
I mean, it's hard not to,
Hmm.
although realistically, I know I'm never gonna look like anyone except for me.
Right.
So I definitely do. It's not intentional, but then I remind myself that, I am me and I can't look like someone else. Like I can't make my muscle bellies or my insertions like someone else.
Right.
Uh, so I just gotta kind of work with what I have. Um, but I think over like um in the women's, at least what I see and also some of the physiques that I tend to um that I personally like, uh,
Hmm.
they aren't always the biggest. They
No.
just look like really good on their frame. So like Christina Nicole is an example.
Yep. Mendoza. Yep.
She's gorgeous. She's put together well. Her physique flows. It's pretty to look at. Um,
Right.
she's got huge legs, but her back isn't the biggest.
No.
Um, so I think it's person to person. So what
Mhm.
makes one person competitive like over the other? And I think even isn't Angie isn't she's not like she's definitely not a mass monster, I don't believe, but
Angela Yelp. No.
yeah, but
Hmm.
she
She's
gets
the
so
shred
crazy.
monster, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
A
so I
condition, you say, it should be the right term.
yeah, she gets crazy conditioned.
Yeah,
And
she really
so
does.
I
Love it.
think yeah. Is that what you like, the crazy and good conditioning?
I like all six divisions. I really do. I would say I'm on record as saying it, and all of them are Amazons to me. And you can't have one without the other. I
Yeah.
think y'all better together as opposed to divided, because y'all stronger together as a group because it's really you against the world. Because everybody's talking about every division, and maybe there's too many shows for bikini, and bikinis get more money, but at the same time, all of y'all are getting shade, and so it's important to. So that, but if you, I'm saying women's bodybuilding, uh, I love them all. I love Ashley Shape. I love Angela Yo's, but then you look at the champ, and it's just like that waist and that tapered and all these other terms, the V taper. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, size matters, conditioning matters, but you can't grow height. So whatever size you are or however tall you are, you
Yeah.
you better be bringing it.
Yeah.
And I think an athlete that is taller, 5'8" frame versus a 5'2" frame. And I always use the comparison of Frank Colombo and Arnold Schwarzenegger. If the taller athlete hits all the marks, the conditioning is shredded to the bone, uh, that's a lot of muscle looking up. And
Yeah.
because it automatically jumps out because you're drawn to and you're looking up like, wow, so. But again, I'm a fan of the photographer. It is okay to be both. I'm not a judge, so that's why it's not. I'm not copping out or bowing out. I can truly say everybody looks good because I'm just trying to get you in front of the lens because it's impolite to stare. So
That's a good answer.
yeah, I mean, hey, you know, take a photo because it's impolite to stare, and nobody likes to be stared at. So yeah, that's the best approach. And then of course, I'm always trying to promote the magazine and get as many uh, Amazons in it as possible. And I love the stories that they tell in the articles because it's not just a picture book. So, and that's things keep growing it and keep promoting women's bodybuilding. So,
Yeah. I love the magazine, by the way. I'm gonna have to get
oh
another one from you. And I
yeah,
like having them here, like at my place, so people like ask about it.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell them to order it, and if you send me your address, I'll send you some more copies.
Nice.
I think you were in what, the July issue?
I think so.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Teresa Vance going to cover. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, shoot me your address. I'll send you some more,
Sweet.
and
Thank
get all your fans to buy them. And
you.
I
Yeah,
think, uh huh,
yeah. I'll promote it again. I'll post it again.
appreciate you. Appreciate you. So you overall you liked it though? You loved it?
Oh yeah, the articles, everything. Yeah.
Good deal. I've been thinking. I think I'm gonna like do like a man on the street, and I'm gonna take my magazine and have it in a like a envelope, and I'm gonna hand them the envelope and say, okay, open it and give me your first impressions, and then film it. Just see
Yeah.
what regular people think. Well, you can't. I don't want to use the word regular people. People that just aren't uh,
In the
conditioned or accustomed to seeing
yeah.
women's bodybuilding. So,
Yeah. I
but you
think that's
always
a good
that
idea.
yeah, the most part I'll get, well, I want to look like that. She looks like a man, and then they'll see the bikini. Oh yeah, I could do that, and then I start laughing like, no, you couldn't. So because there's so much more dedication to it, but yeah, just see how it goes going into year 3 here. So, but the response has been great, and now it's just like I'm trying to find okay where I need to channel it and make it more mainstream, of course. And but as long as the women are happy, that's all I care about. So,
Do
and
you notice that more men or more women buy it?
as far as subscribers, it's about even. Uh, Women versus men. So I think I'm getting the niche right there. I think more men obviously expect more provocative.
Mm.
Uh, and they're like, oh, okay, But for the most part, it's doing well. But I would say it's about even. It's about even, and I think it's most from the women's standpoint because it's telling their story and they're seeing their articles,
Mhm.
and they can relate to a lot of stuff that's being written in it. And then of course the guys, sure they probably never going to read any of the articles, but they want to see the pictures.
Yeah.
And like Sherry Priami, that one did really well. Sheena Oleg's magazine is doing really well. The last 3 issues, and then everybody's bought a lot of Roshana Boswell's issue and Teresa Avancic's. So they know what they like, and they clamor after that. But then there's all the ones where why don't you go shoot such as Ava Montgomery, when you're going to shoot Ashley Jones, Hella Trevino is like, hey, they're across the world or they're in Texas. Like, okay, I can shoot anybody that you would like me to shoot. Send a plane ticket and I'll go down there or I'll fly them in. That's too easy. You can set up a meet and greet, but it's easier said than done. And at the end of the day, do you want to be in it? Just because you got a magazine doesn't mean anybody wants to be in it. But muscle development is gone. So I'm a guy out here that's doing it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about maybe outsourcing the people that can actually come and shoot with you? Maybe they're like you could do something like find a photographer that you would trust to get the images you want and then keep them.
And that's been the I don't know if it's more or less a haterade or they're doing their own thing, but yeah, to get contributing photographers, I've had a couple, but then I put it out there and I didn't really get any hits back.
Okay.
Even from a lot of the photographers where I was shooting stuff for their magazine submitting, I expect, okay, there's going to be tons of photographers like, hey, here we go. Yeah, can I get this? I want to be. Just hasn't happened. But I've had 1 or 2. But yeah, I'm going to put that out there. It is out there, but maybe market that more to see who wants to be a contributing photographer to the magazine and go from there.
Well, let me know like if you can make it shareable because I've actually done that. Like I did that with Hustler.
Okay.
They outsourced the photographer here, and then put the pictures were exclusive for the magazine.
Yeah, exactly. It had to be that. Well, in the words of Star Trek, make it so. Yeah, go for it. And hit me back later this week and we'll talk and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, exclusive to the magazine, never published on social media, 3 to 5 images, 300 DPI, digital pixels per inch. And yeah, go in there. And then you get the combination of, the professional photographers and they want to be paid X, Y, and Z. And then you got the photographers that's starting out that want to get published, but their work is like,
Yeah.
And everybody's got to start somewhere,
Yeah.
So and go from there. But yeah, that's a great idea, especially going into this 3rd year to make that happen. Because if you guys aren't in it, it's not going to sell. So it's just the way it is. got it just the way it is. And then the one of the things I had, one of the first articles that I wrote in the magazine was like, pros get paid, amateurs get shade, Olympians get paid more.
Mm.
And not everybody's gonna get paid. I mean, and you could think you're a big name, but that won't that magazine may or may not sell,
Yeah.
And then you should be paid for your shoots because I believe that because that's where you make your money. But some of the prices that some models are asking for is like, okay, that's out of my price range. Not that you're not worth it or that you don't know your worth. It's just that you know, that's not in the budget. Everybody's got to live on a budget.
Yeah.
But yeah, you always want that real person that's on the cover. And if you look at the starting point overall, take the top three of all six divisions, you know, and then you just go from there. But then there's always that one person that's an up and comer that nobody's heard from. There's like, it catches their eyes like, wow, who's this? And that magazine blows up, So it's a niche, but yeah, you just have to go from there and see. But yeah, always trying to get new content, always trying to get that showstopper cover to sell the magazine. But yeah, at the end of the day, promote women's bodybuilding, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it.
So you're certainly welcome, and let me know. And keep pushing there because I'm, now coming up the 2025 watch list. You're definitely on it because nobody knows how this thing going to shake out, and that's what's so exciting about it because every year is different.
Yeah.
That one person that everybody thought of and like, boom, who's this? To the standpoint, nobody could have thought in 2024 that Andrea Shaw would have got beat at the Rising Phoenix.
Yeah. That was surprising.
Back of their head said, well, yeah, it could happen, but nobody was all in, maybe 5-10% that she would lose, but 90-95% was like, hey, she's not losing. And when you start putting it out there, people can take it different ways as competitors because Angela Yo obviously took that, okay, this is a challenge. I'm going for it. Other competitors be like, well, I'll never be able to beat her. And they're beat before they get on the stage. I always call it the Tyson effect. Because Mike Tyson had so many people beat back in his day before they even got in the ring. And I think she had that for the most part. But now, after they saw that she lost at Rising Phoenix, they're like, oh, if it bleeds, we can kill it. It's taken from the movie Predator. And now, hey, everybody's coming.
Yeah.
They got a renewed faith, if you will. But we're going to see how it all shakes out. It's exciting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I had completely forgot that Angela beat her at the Rising Phoenix.
Yeah.
That was surprising.
Yeah. But, it was 7 weeks out and say whatever you want. She beat her. She's the reigning Phoenix champion. And everybody at that point, everybody wrote her in as Miss Olympia. Yeah. And we saw how it turned out. And so, but it's definitely getting tighter. I would say that. When you get inside your head or you let your foot slip or everybody always kept saying, well, she leaves the door open, talking about Andrea Shaw. She leaves the door open, I don't believe that. I don't, if she's off, champions are never off.
Yeah.
They may make a miscalculation in their training or whatnot, but champions are never off because that's why they're the champ. So
yeah.
The reason Linda Murray won 8 and Iris Cow won 10, is that champion. Now she's got 5, right?
Yeah. And is it true that I don't know if I saw on her page or someone else's that she hired a whole new team like after the Rising Phoenix?
Yeah, I'd seen that. But the only thing I knew to confirm that she stayed in Arizona, but I don't know if she was still with John Simmons, or then I heard that she was with Sid Gillian's coach, and then Sid Gillian was working with her as well. But I didn't really see anything official from her mouth per se.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. Yeah. Whatever changes she made, because she had 7 weeks, and that's a long time to plan. Like I said, had it been if the Rising Phoenix have been 2 weeks out from the Olympia, even 3 weeks, who knows?
Yeah.
But at the same time, everybody's like, well, did Angela like relax, say, oh, okay, I'm good? I don't believe that either. It's
Oh
it's a
no,
dog. It's a dog fight.
yeah.
you know.
I don't think it's possible for her to be more shredded, you know?
But exactly, just like we just now said, she's gonna find something. There's always that extra gear. But the bottom line of it all, too, to me, is like, wow, how far did the top three, Andrew Shaw, Angela Yo, and Ashley Jones, separate from the rest of not just the Olympians in the 60th Olympia, but how far did they separate themselves from the division?
Yeah.
As a whole? Because like, wow, it's like running track. You're like, you're never going to catch it. You think you're catching up, and then they just push down another gear because they're definitely. I will say this: all three of them are definitely pushing each other, and that's a good thing. And it's ironic that Andrea Shaw told them both, Angela Yo and Ashley Jones, to move up to women's bodybuilding. So she she wasn't ducking anybody, but she almost picked the person she did pick the person that beat her.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about being a champion. I think you need to move up. They moved up and they pushed her, and they're gonna continue to push her. And we'll see what happens in 2025.
Yeah.
So to close it out, we know what your goals are, obviously, but is there anything that you feel specifically that you need to work on? And I'm not just talking about body parts or personal life. What's going to maintain you and keep you motivated once you get into your prep? What's going to be the driving factor? What do you feel that's going to bother you? What's going to be the advantage and what's going to be the disadvantage as you start the 2025 season?
Honestly, I really enjoy competing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I really need to. I mean, of course there's when you're in prep, there's days you definitely want to give up, and it's hard because it's hard, and there your energy starts to waver and things like that. But I'm pretty good at, like, once I put my mind to something, I'm gonna see it, especially when it comes to bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I am just passionate about it. So one, wanting to see how much I can push myself, especially now I'm in the pros. Not wanting to make a mistake on anything. I want my training to be perfect. I want my diet to be perfect. And just not leave any stone unturned, to say my pro debut, I put it all on the table. So yeah, that's I think that's gonna be what's motivating me is wanting to know that I gave it my all.
Yeah.
And if I need to go back to the drawing board, if the judges say, hey, you just need so much more size or whatever, um I'll do that. But I want to make sure that I've um not held back in any way, if that makes sense. And another thing is, like, I personally, I have to be very careful. Well, I choose to be very careful with my gear usage.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to give up my modeling career,
Right.
because I do some non-bodybuilding modeling as well that that also pays me, and I'm not willing to sacrifice certain things. So my regimen has to be perfect.
Right.
Not saying that gear is a cop out, or like, because obviously I'm not against it, but when it comes to building size, it does make it easier. And again, I'm definitely not natural by any means, but
Right.
I do have my limits. And talking to some people that are other women bodybuilders that are also in the pro league, there's some things that they're doing that I'm just not going to do. So my diet, my training has to be perfect, you know. um,
At the end of the day, you got to do you. And I love your off season look. You know,
thank
and the biggest thing they say that femininity is not on the scorecard, but it is on the scorecard because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they want that beauty to stream through, and you got it. And like you said, double-edged sword. You got your modeling that you do in shredded season or in competition season. Then the off season, everybody else is grabbing at you. That's perfect match for both worlds
Yeah.
because that you're seen as like, okay, you're marketable.
Yeah.
Whether you're in season or out of season, and that keeps the money flowing, and that's important.
Yeah, and that is really nice, and it's also a really good experience for me, out for other things outside of bodybuilding.
Right, for sure. Hannah Hussein, thank you for joining me on Amazon's podcast. Reach back out. We'll talk later this week. And yeah, send me your ideas. I'm always looking for new ideas that everybody has about the magazine. So, and let me know. And of course, you're there in Texas with Ashley Jones. So, hey.
Oh, she's in Texas? I didn't know that.
She is in Texas. And actually, she was in Houston, but I think she may have moved to Dallas now.
Okay.
For her and Jessica Reyes-Padilla. But yeah, she's in Texas.
Okay. I did not know that.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking to me. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Coming up on Amazon's podcast tomorrow, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, Ava Montgomery Muscle on Instagram. She is a mass monster. Enjoyed talking to her last time, so I'm excited to talk to her again to see what she is going to do in the 2025 season. And yeah, just one of the pros out there, preeminent pros that I love seeing on stage. So looking forward to that. Have you ordered the magazine, Amazon's Fitness Magazine? Go to amazonsfitmag.com, click on issues, and buy the magazine, whether it's Sheena or Sherry or Sheena. Buy the magazine, and of course, all the previous issues as well. Looking forward to talking to Ava Montgomery tomorrow night. Thank you again to all the new subscribers to the YouTube channel, and especially to the Amazon's Fit Mag website, amazonsfitmag.com, because when you can do more, I can do more for the Amazon to continue to promote women's bodybuilding. So we will see you tomorrow night. Talk soon. And thank you for tuning in to the show. For all the new followers that's going to see the video coming up on as pre-recorded. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel as well. Talk soon.